Alright guys, back to Dungeons and Dragons on the Sega Genesis. And I am off. Let's see, I just killed... Oops, what am I doing that for? I need to look at the map. So I just killed the beastmen at the camp. Nothing really happens after that. So there's no reason to go back to town and talk to Vermilion. The next thing to do would be to go through the Beastman caves, and I believe we end up in the swamp in this case. So that's what we're going to do. Do those boars make me miss the bridge? No, I haven't gotten to the bridge yet. So back in basic D&D, certain types of monsters were not worth fighting, period. Boars would be an example of that. Here's an example of using... Oh, pressed the wrong button. Try to initiate with melee and you might have a problem. Here's an example of using a bush to possibly slow down the enemy. I don't know why we still miss so much. I think it's definitely one of the things that's better about Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. It is designed around that principle that you're going to hit more often than you miss, for the most part. I don't think that was a design feature for older role-playing games. I remember playing Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay 1st edition, and just like your weapon skill would be 30, so you have a 30% chance to hit. And yeah, you would just miss frequently. And sometimes when you hit, you would do almost no damage, or actually no damage. So I do like how game design has come farther. The pushes in this game are so dang thick. I have like had to backtrack quite a bit because of how thick they made the foliage. And it's kind of annoying because I kind of try to stick to certain paths, but like they're not marked. There's no roads really. But kind of if you follow the mountains, usually you can find a path around. But if you try to go overland, like through the woods, sometimes you'll go a really long way and then realize that you're completely boned. Like you're dead ended. You got to turn around. Anyway, I'm glad game design has sort of shifted more towards, like, basically it's kind of more taken, because it went from this like simulation and like, oh, what's fair, what's realistic, and it's gone more towards human psychology, which is that like if I was going to design a Dungeons and Dragons monster, for example, or almost to the Beastman case, in 5th edition, I would keep the armor class at a reasonable level, but if I wanted it to live longer, I'd just give it a bucket of hit points. And players like to hit things, whether or not they do the final blow. I mean, the one who does the final blow is going to enjoy himself like the most, obviously. Like, oh, I got the killing blow, yay. But they like to hit things and contribute. And especially the way I've run a game, we'll do kind of like a very tactical, like, we'll spend like 2 hours on a single battle, but I'll have it like everything in the kitchen sink is coming at them. But if the player in their turn, all they do is miss every single time, the whole session is kind of ruined for them. They're like, well, this was stupid. I didn't even contribute at all. Like in their mind, they didn't contribute. But if they hit but didn't do enough damage to kill somebody, then at least they're like, oh, well, I contributed at least. they didn't have that design principle back here in basic Dungeons and Dragons. Also, I distracted myself. My thief is supposed to hide before we go in the cave. So let's take care of that real quick. And randomly she's down 3 hit points. I might as well have her... We'll go ahead and rest. Let's see any changes to make, really. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, I believe we're heading off to the swamp, which has my favorite battle music randomly. So I'm looking forward to that. We'll spam hide until she succeeds. Should look this up and see what the actual percentage is, but it's probably something like 40% or lower even. Thieves were terrible until 3rd edition. I actually don't know a lot of people who even bothered to play a thief in the previous editions, because even though the concept was cool, they sucked in practice. 2nd edition, actually, you could kind of mess around with their stats to the point where they were actually good at something, but... Okay, so we're gonna go... This is gonna be like our first major dungeon foray. And I'm actually... This game is a good auto map, so I won't be like mapping it out or even using a walkthrough. The vines separate to the touch of the withered vine, allowing you to pass. So right off the bat here, we have a carrion crawler. Classic monster, and we killed it pretty quickly thanks to my thief having a permanent double damage. We're gonna kind of do the labyrinth trick to some extent and just kind of follow the wall along the right here. And the reason for that is we actually want to explore... Ooh, these guys are kind of tough. They're like giant lizards. We actually want to explore this entire dungeon because there's good treasure to find. Now remember, I can kind of exploit the game a bit by, you remember how I killed the fire giant so easily. I could do a lot of backing up and all that sort of stuff. I'll actually try to play it straight now that I'm like way higher level. You already have like a huge advantage over your enemies just because you have ranged weapons. But like here, I'm going to back up because they actually had me surrounded on 2 sides. And now they can only get me on 1 side. Alright. Giant rat. Yes, I'm scared of a giant rat. And then I'll be checking the map frequently just to make sure I'm on track and haven't like skipped over any major areas. But yeah, there's some decent loot in here. Oh geez, you got some actual like possibly venomous enemies. But anyway, we don't want to... Actually don't remember how poison works in this game. Poison normally would have been a save or die effect, I believe. I don't know. Anyway. There's some good loot in here, and we don't want to miss it. And there's a weird quirk of this game that the loot that's on the ground, if you walk near it but don't pick it up, it's possible that it will permanently despawn. I don't know exactly what the parameters are, but I've definitely had the Dragon's Horde from that first Fire Giant cave. I've had that horde disappear on me, like getting close to the room but not actually taking the treasure. So we're just going to make sure we get all the loot here. And some of the stuff is stuff you can't really replace. At least not easily. Like, there's a ring of regeneration, I think, in this. It might be in this one, or it might be in the next dungeon. Sub-chief. So these would be like the almost bosses. I'm not sure that there's the chief. He's already dead. Troglodytes are cool monsters, I think. I always liked them. Here's a big old room of them, so you see how much I like them. No, I think they look cool. The fact that they live at caves is cool, I think. I think they have like the smell. I don't know what it does in this game or if they even bothered programming it, but they're supposed to like smell really bad. Oh, we got a giant lizard over on this side. Ouch. Young troglodytes, so the younglings are coming after us now. Okay. We just slaughtered a big cave of troglodytes and their younglings. Killed them all. Not just the men, but the women and children too. The lizard just went around the corner. There is one enemy in this game that's actually a bit scary. Alright, we got a haste spell, that's awesome. And I think we're actually kind of close to it. Oh, there it is. Jeez. So this one I'll be a little bit more careful with, because this thing... And the crazy thing is, as a kid, I loved basic D&D, mentioned that. I tried to figure out what rulebook this monster appeared in, the Phobos Succus. It's like a giant alligator thing. And the reason I'm always scared of it is if it does hit, it does a crazy amount of damage. We're talking just crazy. Okay, this is actually the end of the dungeon right here. The west wall has a strange pattern of holes in it. This is actually right here that unlocks the next dungeon. Because the actual swamp itself is sort of a kind of a red herring dead end. We're gonna go, don't get me wrong, but I'm gonna finish exploring this dungeon first. I don't know if I've mentioned, yeah, there are secret doors in this game, and for some reason the elf had the special ability of just standing next to a secret door has like a 1 in 6 chance of detecting it. That was a D&D thing. I don't know why. Elves basically just did everything. Like, oh, I can fight really well, I can cast magic really well, I can detect secret doors. They were my favorite class to play as a kid, because why not? There's the other giant rat. I don't know why one of them came at me earlier. Okay. Feel like I missed an area. Yeah, okay. There's a lot of blank spots up here, so we're gonna kind of circle around back and see what we missed up here. But we did kill the entire like troglodyte tribe. So what do we have over here? Giant rats and giant frogs, it looks like. Giant toad. Ooh. And we have some snakes and stuff. I don't have a cure poison spell yet, though. I do believe we'll find some cure poison potions in here. And then in the swamp there is a pool of water or spring or something that will cure us of poison. And basically we're not going to be able to do a long rest until we if we get poisoned, we're not going to be able to do a long rest until we get cured. Kind of a pain in the rear. Okay, just remembering the loot in this dungeon is actually kind of lame if I remember right. We got the haste spell, kind of a big thing. There's an owlbear, but it's just standing there. And that's because it was protecting its babies over here. Just kind of sad when you think about it. So I just went and killed the baby owlbears. I feel really bad, actually. I'm not happy with myself right now. I got money, potions of healing. Was it worth it, though? Killing these cute little owlbears? The mom didn't even defend herself. She was just defending her babies. Okay, is that the... No, this is a new area. I thought this might be the area where we came in through the vines, but it's not. So, potion of cure poison, potion of cure poison. Okay. So we do have 2 cure poison potions. And quick look at the map, and yeah, that's it. So yeah, this dungeon's actually pretty easy, except if you're not careful, the giant lizards and that Phobosuchus, such as whatever thing, they can really do a number on you if you're not careful. Might even, honestly, that Phobosuchus can like usually one-shot your lead character. If you're not prepared, then it just happens. So I remember kind of getting through this cave and kind of limping into the swamp. But like I said, the swamp has a spring that cures status ailments. I think it has a different spring or a tree or something weird that does, like one of them resurrects and then one of them cures or something weird like that. So even if you lost a couple characters, you just kind of keep pushing through to the other side and eventually you can bring them back. Alright. And then you can actually rest in the dungeons, but as I've mentioned, I'm not going to, because then my thief loses her hide advantage. Oops. I meant to get to the map. Okay. Okay. We will go ahead and rest right here. Sabrina scribes the spell magic and haste. Yes, we want to heal. No, and yes, we want to do the haste spell. Alright. And we will keep separate save file for the swamp so I can keep that music. And then actually I need to go make sure my son wakes up for breakfast, so I'll be right back. Okay, don't know if waking up my son actually worked because he made some dinosaur noises at me and sounded kind of angry, but I'll play through the swamp real quick and then we will here's some lizardmen. I've also always loved lizardmen. or lizard folk as they call them these days. They're just cool, and they live in swamps, which is cool in my opinion. Especially like the idea of lizard folk riding giant lizards. Alright, so if you try to check the map here, it'll be like, you don't have a map of this area yet. And so it's not auto mapping where you've been yet either. So you can get pretty lost here. What I do know is that I'm trying to go a little bit to the right and then up. I forgot to let the music play long enough. Here's a single lizard man. I'll let the music play. Right here. Music's so good. Like they actually put in someone going, huh. I just love it. Alright, I'm gonna drop some junk. Like normal swords are not gonna be worth much, so sure they just got dropped off of enemies I've been killing. Yeah, we've not really gotten any good loot other than that haste spell. And even that haste spell, I don't really know that I'm gonna find much use for it. You just spend that turn killing the enemy. Although maybe we'll try it out on the way back through the dungeon, because for some reason I feel like it affects like the whole team or something weird. By the way, you could definitely do the labyrinth trick with this as well. So right now I'm following the right side of the path. Eventually you'll get somewhere. Imagine my right hand following the wall. I'm starting to remember, there's like a main path that goes from the cave north. I think you're supposed to take that up, ignore the first branch to the right, and take the second branch to the right instead. Because I think this was just a big long dead end. So we circle back to the main path, which is what, right here? And we'll take the next path to the right, I think. Here's another lizard man. I don't know why they think they can take me on one at a time. So what I'm looking for actually is the village of the lizard men or lizard folk. Not 100% sure it's necessary. I think so for the story. Anyway, this is like the Beastmen camp though, so you walk in here and you just death to the humans. It's kind of jam the B button so you get the first turn. And then we'll just kind of set up a little perimeter here, I think. Okay. That was a big battlefield. Might need the bowman to fire at the not closest one just so the cleric has a target. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, 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 dun. I don't know why these lizard folk think they can even hurt me, but they probably have like a 5 or 10% chance to even hit. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, dun. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, 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 dun. Of course, apparently I can't hit either. I'm gonna have to figure out the probabilities of me hitting at some point because this is ridiculous. The enemies had missile weapons, they might actually be able to like do something. They spend most of this battle running towards me. The thief is the only one that even has armor class bad enough to be hit, but even then, like, ooh, she took 6 points of damage. Like, these guys don't even have weapons. Like, they're just like scratching with their claws. Try to hit this one right next to me. So the kind of crazy thing is, like, yeah, okay, I've got like way better equipment than I'm supposed to have. Like, oh, I've got a +2 shield and all this stuff. So these top 3 characters, fighter, cleric, elf, they could each just be wearing plate mail and a shield, and they still wouldn't be invincible to these lizard men almost. It's not even that I'm like way over equipped. Curse you and your gold-skinned brethren to the north. So that's our big clue that we're gonna go find some bronze-skinned humans. You find several peculiar artifacts that Marmillion will want to see, and a map of the swamp. I think that might be it. Huh? There you go. You find a handful of miniature gold idols encrusted with gems. Okay. Let's take a look at the map. Yeah, so you see that first part when I was lost, I took that first branch to the right, and I just got like way lost out there before I remembered to take the second branch to the right, and it's a pretty straight shot. I believe the pool of water, I believe, is what resurrects you. Like, you look in the pool and you see the reflections of your fallen comrades or something to that effect. And then the tree must have the healing properties that cures poison and stuff. Anyway, we're gonna head back. Whoa, what is that? Probably a Hydra. Yeah, it's a Hydra. Uses the same sprite as the dragons that are in the overworld, so I don't know that hydras have good money drop, though. I used to get excited. I normally get excited when I see a dragon on the world map, but yeah, hydras don't drop good money. They're not dragons. Okay. Anyway, we're heading back. This dungeon master really likes to push the ram encounters. Yeah, so lizardmen, 2 lizardmen drop more gold than the hydra, of course. It's a hydra. Back in basic Dungeons and Dragons and first edition Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, monsters had treasure types. And basically the treasure type would tell you what charts to roll on to see what treasure they're actually carrying. This game seems to have made it a little bit more abstract, which is probably a good thing. Yeah, just another non-magical sword. And then often there was a different treasure for if you found the monster in its lair as opposed to free roaming as a random encounter. But then usually there were more of it in the lair. Like you might find a handful of orcs wandering the countryside, or you could find like a whole like cave full of them, and the cave would have better treasure. Alright, and then we're looking for the dungeon entrance, which is down here, but it's not marked, so we're just going to suddenly appear in the dungeon. But I'm going to backtrack. We're going to save the game. And we're going to have the thief hide. Like how it makes this weird squealing noise. That's just the item, or not item, but like the special ability sound effect. Alright, we're going to try the haste spell. I think the haste spell is more on a time. Yeah, we'll see. I don't know what effect it actually has, so we'll see. The first enemy we should encounter would be the Phobos Succus, so just shoot the heck out of it. I don't know what the haste spell is doing, actually. They have 14 damage. They can do a lot more than 14 damage, I'm sure. Oh, in case it wasn't clear, all of the enemies respawn when you leave the dungeons. You have to fight your way back through all the giant lizards and troglodytes again. But I don't have to worry about the treasure this time, because the treasure's all gone. Interestingly, the enemies can only, like the human enemies can only come basically one at a time, or excuse me, 2 at a time. So at most, You can get surrounded. Well, if you get surrounded on all four sides, you could have 8 humanoids swinging at you at a time. Highly unlikely. And then the bigger monsters, only one of them can approach on each side at a time. So this thief getting a +4 to hit and doing double damage is pretty damn useful. Although I'll remind you that the halfling does it as well, so kind of up to you whether you think the halfling or the thief is more effective. Yeah, +4 to hit is like a +20% chance to hit, basically. Yeah, haste just wore off. Whatever it did. Whatever it did is done. This lizard won't come at me, so I'll have to come at it. There's a giant lizard behind me, so... Okay, didn't actually follow me though. I guess I think there is a giant lizard. Yeah, didn't follow me though, so whatever. Shooted the other one and just runs. Alright. And I think I'm almost out of here because there's that carry-on crawler. Interestingly, all the beastmen stay dead from the original dungeon, or at least, yeah, the beastmen stay dead. There we go. So you can't just farm them out of the caves. But all the other monsters in every other dungeon pretty well always respawn. Alright, we're gonna walk all the way back to town, see if anything's different. And really not much will be different. Unfortunately, I don't think we have a lot of money, because that dragon horde we got early in the game, it's like the biggest, basically the biggest chunk of money in the game, really. We picked up no good magic items along the way, and didn't really have that much in terms of just money lying on the ground. But we're strong enough to fight the next part already. Let's see. Looking at level ups. Yeah, we're gonna go check out the town. I might actually level up each of my characters once. Should probably show you how I'm going to be doing the leveling up, but yeah. Let's go back to town first, though. The green The giant green beastmen get 3 attacks for some reason, but they also have the best money drops, so I don't mind. So much missing. Again, this is why you want to roll good stats at the beginning. Just having good stats, you can get, like you have strength 18 for example, plus 3 to hit, that's like a plus 15% to hit. There's another green guy. I don't know why I used my bow in melee. Wasn't paying attention whose turn it was, I guess. Oh, the boars actually got the advantage on me because I didn't see him coming. Okay, these things have not great armor class. So I actually started recording myself playing this game a while ago. It's on my old computer, and the files are on the old computer that are gone now. One of the things I did in an old video that I wish I, had kept. I talked about a role-playing campaign I ran set in the basic D&D world of Mystara. There are a lot of really cool ideas in Mystara, but they also sometimes conflicted with really stupid ideas. So Mystara was a very confusing world to play in. So I bought the book, The Grand Duchy of Karamikos, which is like, they called them gazetteer, but each gazetteer would sort of basically detail like one country. And most of the basic, like levels 1 through 3 adventures were set in Karamikos. But I fell in love with the idea of Karamikos because basically what you have is let's say kind of a, what's the right term? So it's kind of a Russian, kind of a Ukrainian, like, is it Slavic? I don't know what the right term is, but like those kinds of peoples, but like take old kind of medieval / folklore versions of all that stuff and turn it into a campaign setting. So basically like a Russian kind of people. And then I actually have to stop and explain this for a moment because it was kind of cool. They had these 3 legendary heroes, Halev and Petra and Zerchev. And in the world they eventually became immortals, which is basic D&D's version of the gods. But the 3 heroes fought this giant invading beastman army and saved the kingdom of Traladara, which is where like the Russian type people lived. But during the battle, Halev the king died, and then like rose from the grave, and then became a god or something like that after that. So, but then this kingdom of Traladara or whatever was invaded by, what were they called? They were basically the Romans / Byzantines. My brain's gone blank of what they were called. Anyway, they got invaded by these other guys. One of them eventually, his name was Stefan Karamikos, one of them eventually said, I will exchange all my ancestral birthright if I get to instead govern this entire country. And that's why it became the Grand Duchy of Karamikos. There's actually this tension between sort of the invading people. I wish I could remember their name. My brain has gone completely blank. It was something... Oh, Thyatis, something like that. Thyacians. Anyway, there's a tension between the invading Thyacians and the native Traladaran people, or basically, you know, Western/Roman people versus the Russian people. And so that made a really good campaign setting. And basically, my players were the three heroes reborn, and they had to go collect these artifacts and prepare for a giant beastman army invasion. And of course, it was like, well, who are the beastmen? Well, in this case, it was actually the gnolls. It was like they weren't a separate species called the beastmen. The gnolls were called beastmen back in the old times. We should have sent a blind man for aid. So it was a pretty epic campaign. A little teapot, short and stout. Look what the cat dragged in. Let's see. I think this will work. Might notice that what people are saying is getting really, really strange. Let's see here. I'm going to save the game. I'm pretty sure we're not quite to the point where we get kicked out of the castle, but we're getting close. I am losing my patience with you bumbling fools. I send you for help, and again you tell me of more enemies. In case you haven't noticed, we have plenty of foes, but we lack our friends. Spies are everywhere. I have not slept for days. My guards are with me wherever I go. You must bring help soon. I need help. Yeah, you definitely need help. The artifacts were created recently. I can't explain this, and I may be going crazy, but I would swear that we have been sent back in time. I know you think me mad, but it is the Duke who is mad. He threw me in irons, then released me. Both actions were without warning or explanation. I have been burning incense to keep my senses. I am certain the sun or the earth is distorting our minds. You must bring me more clues. They are the key to our survival. So that's our biggest hint, is something's wrong, and it's making basically all the humans here in this castle kind of go crazy. You again. Whatever you want, it's going to cost you. Don't waste my time just looking either. Okay, so we have +2. We have a +3 spear for the first time. And it is tempting just for that hit bonus of an extra 5%, but I don't know about that. The sword does 1d8 damage, the spear does 1d6 damage, so... Although technically that would... Even a +1 damage would be worth the, Yeah, I have to think about that. And then we're up to +2. In this case, the shield is going to be the best buy. Look at this, +1 plate mail, 15,000 gold. Yeah, we don't have that. But we can definitely afford some shields. So we'll do that. So we just need 2 +2 shields. We'll sell the +1 shields. Alright. Yeah, okay, so armor class for the fighter, -3, -3, -3. And then we kind of need to get that +2 leather armor for the thief. Actually, I should look at the spell selection first, because that might actually be something interesting in there. Alright, what do we got? shield, magic missile. Okay, no, nothing. Okay. Yeah, let's get the leather armor for the thief. Buy +2 leather armor. Sell +1 leather armor. And take a look at the weapons again. We do not have +2 bows yet. I'm going to buy a +3 spear for the elf and just gonna try that out for a while, see how that goes. And then we can sell the +1 sword. And the normal sword. Alright, I think we're good. I think the first character ever made in Basic Dungeons & Dragons was an elf with plate mail and a battle axe. And then I always made fun of myself forever after that. Like, oh, why would I do that? It's a perfectly viable character. I don't know why. But like, no, elves should have chainmail and sword and bow. Okay, yeah, so we are going to save the game. And then we're gonna level up each of the characters at least once. I'll show you how that looks, and I'll do the rest off screen. Music has such good. This music has such good game. This game has such good music. Every time someone tells me that the Sega Genesis does not have a good sound chip, it's like, there are definitely good songs on the Sega Genesis. So the people who couldn't figure it out just didn't try hard enough. Just like the Nintendo could have good music if you bothered to do it right. The characters in plate mail are so slow. I'm still missing with the +3 spear. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, and actually it's not a huge thing to... I don't really need to level grind that much. The next dungeon's a bit brutal just because of the traps. But it's doable at the level we're already at. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the enemies have to roll like 20s to hit most of my characters. Do 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 do. Dun 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 dun. So I'm getting out the rule book and seeing why my people keep missing so much. The kind of sucky thing about fighting animals is that they do not actually give you money. It's funny though, it's like the game tries to be a little bit realistic, like animals don't carry money. Are you kidding? But then if you fight like a dragon just walking around the countryside, you just get a pile of gold, like you just rifle through its pockets or something. Game's kind of interesting how it bottlenecks you. The next dungeon we can only get through by seeing the weird patterns at the end of the previous dungeon, like a code or something. And then the next dungeon after that is the volcano, which you can only safely get to with rings of fire resistance. And then I don't remember what the next bottleneck is, actually. I know there's a cave to the final dungeon after that, but I don't know what prevents you from going there like right now. Never did look up the glitch as to why the Gauntlets of Ogre Power aren't actually doing anything for my cleric. They actually... It's been a little while since I've done any hex editing, but I can actually cheat in the proper value. So my cleric does have the 18 strength she's supposed to have. I might do that if I don't see a way to fix it. Let's see. Yeah, this is the Fire Giant Cave. Okay. So let me show you what I'll be doing to level grind. And let's see. We'll do the elf first because she's the farthest behind. There's going to be some saving and reloading, just FYI. So with the entangle spell, you just come to the giant, just roll up on him like that. Switch back to the bow. You'll notice every single hit hits. Okay. And then, yeah, so the elf's gonna gain a level with the next kill of a major monster. Probably not the hellhounds. I'm not gonna worry about them too much. Oh, she did level up. Alright, and then you might notice she went up like 2 hit points. So that's why we're going to be, we're going to be reloading a lot. But you might also remember that there's a, what is a saber-toothed tiger. Okay, where? I didn't realize the hellhounds drop that much XP. Okay. Alright, past the saber-tooth tiger, we have the red dragon. The ridiculous thing about the entangle spell is that there is no saving throw. The red dragon rolls up on us, and we just start pounding on it. Yeah, so that's what we'll be doing. But like I said, I'm going to reload because so the problem with Sabrina is she has only +1 hit point per level. Elves only get a maximum of 6 hit points per level. So, and she's lower level than everybody else all the time. So I need her to get a good hit points roll or I can't really keep it. So I'm going to go ahead and load up the game, but that's what I'll be doing. I'll be grinding. I don't think I'll be grinding a lot. I think I'll just be grinding 1 or 2 levels per character. And yeah, next time we'll be off to the jungle.